What if I told you that 95% of AI projects fail and it's got nothing to do with the technology? It's not the algorithms, it's governance.
85% of implementations deliver inaccurate results. What's lacking is governance.
Most organizations still treat AI like an IT experiment, something you hand to the tech team and hope it works. But governance is what keeps that from turning into chaos. Today, I'm joined by Colin Hickling, Senior Partner at AITW, AI that works, with over 30 years of experience helping government and large organizations that actually make digital transformation work.
$2.6 billion is being added to the 2025 economy. The expectation is double-digit growth for each and every year going through to 2030.
Today we talk about why 95% of AI pilot projects fail and what the top 5 are doing differently. What living governance really looks like in action and what's it all about. How one Australian hospital replaced 30 admin staff with AI without losing jobs or accuracy. And how AI-enabled cyber attacks are becoming one of the biggest business risks of all decade.
AI is about capability. It's about enablement. It's about being able to do things better, faster, being able to deliver services and products you haven't been able to deliver before.
If you care about building trust, resilience, and real results in the AI era, this one episode you want to listen right to the end. Let's get into it. Good morning, Colin. It's great to have you on the show today, and we have got a lot to unpack today. I know you very well, but for our audience that doesn't know you very well, tell us a bit more about yourself. Who is Colin Hickling and why people should listen to you?
Thank you, Ali. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's very much understatement that we've got a lot to talk about today. So, as you know, I'm Senior Partner with AITW, AI that works, and for 30 plus years, I have been working with government and with private sector in the area of technology and organisational change, particularly in the area of governance and making it work.
Great. No worries at all. It's a huge topic, and I'm hoping that we would be able to do justice to this topic in a short amount of time that we have got available. But look, let's dive into this. So the topic that was selected for today: governing the digital AI-driven future, strategy, risk, and cyber resilience. What could go wrong? Not that much, hopefully, but we'll see about that. All right. So let's dive into the first subtopic that we have got, governing the digital future. Tell us a bit more about that and what comes under that one.
Okay. Look, Ali, I think it's probably important that there's a lot of talk about AI. But that's kind of like talking about ICT. It's an awfully big topic. So
it is indeed.
What we need to talk about is, what is AI?
Oh, yes.
We also need to talk about what is governance, because again, there are many definitions of governance. And governance in this era, this digitally driven era, is different and the same. And we'll go into that a little bit more,
of course,
later. So what is governance? And I guess most importantly, why do these things matter? Okay, so let's talk about where we are with AI.
Sure.
And at the moment in 2025, AIIA estimates that $2.6 billion is being added to the 2025 economy.
Wow. That's a big number.
That's a big number. We're also talking about $142 billion being added to the economy annually by 2030. As of the moment, we've got about just under 1,000 companies who are purely AI companies operating in Australia. And they employ between 8,000 and 10,000 people.
That's a big number.
The expectation is double-digit growth for each and every year going through to 2030.
Wow.
So look, it's big.
It is.
There's no doubt about it. According to studies from both MIT and Gartner, 95% of AI pilot projects fail.
Oh, that's a big number as well, isn't it?
And this number's repeated across numerous studies, AIAA as well. So we're talking about not being very successful with AI, but lots of, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Of course. So the 95%, Colin, that you mentioned, is it like globally or it's just Australia related only?
No, 95% is a global figure.
Okay.
But the number is reflected in Australia as well. And as we get deeper into this, we'll get to discuss some of the reasons why that might be so.
Sure.
Another really frightening statistic is that 85% of implementations deliver inaccurate results. Once again, that's an MIT figure. What's lacking is a number of things, but one of the biggest things is governance. I think we've talked before about AI being seen as a tech project.
Yeah.
Let's hand it over to the CIO or the CISO, or let's hand it over to company X to do a project. AI is about capability. It's about enablement. It's about being able to do things better, faster. It's about being able to deliver services and products you haven't been able to deliver before. Success is about assuring that the business objectives are met. It's about understanding what is the problem that you're solving for. What's X? What are you actually solving for? And what outcome are you seeking? Now, AI, as said, is this great, big, wonderful term that's bandied around by everybody. But what is it? It's actually 3 levels. You've got your large language models, your ChatGPTs, your Copilots, Claude, Grok.
Yep.
And bear in mind, these things have only been around for less than 3 years. But already they are contributing to individual productivity improvements. But they're largely passive. They're driven by individuals who give them an instruction, ask them a question, get them to do something, but they're passive.
Yep.
A step along the way are AI agents. These are agents which do specific things for you. They might be, for example, an agent which is able to be a call center in terms of responses around HR or finance or that sort of thing.
Yep.
They might be a simple thing that does bookings. You have an agent that goes out and does a booking for you for your next holiday. Holidays is a good example, perhaps. So if we talk about what's the difference between an agent and agentic AI. Agentic AI is something that is capable of solving problems, capable of taking independent decisions, which require very little human intervention. So an agent would be, for example, agentic AI, for example, is IBM Watson X, Ask HR, which replaced 200 jobs, or 200 roles rather, in IBM's global consulting arm. Now, then there's the question of what is governance. Governance is the ability of the organisation from the board through C-suite, through operational management, through shop floor, through to projects, to understand exactly what the organisation is trying to achieve, to be able to understand who's accountable at every level for that achievement.
Sure.
And to have the visibility, the measurement that is around business objectives, and that's an important thing, around business objectives, that measures the achievement of that outcome which the board, wants.
Of course.
Why does all this matter? It matters because AI, with that definition that I've just given, is about new capabilities. It's about being able to deliver different services, different products faster, cheaper. Already, organisations that didn't exist a small amount of time ago are delivering things that might have in the past been delivered by much larger organisations. There is actually an advantage in starting with AI and not being tied in to legacy systems. There are so it's about very much bringing on board this new way of business, this new way of labour, this new way of providing to the community. AI in all its forms means that you can deliver things much more cheaply.
Yeah.
Much more cheaply. Your cost of operations shoots right down. The number of resources, human resources, that you require in particular areas also goes down. Now, that doesn't mean job loss. It shouldn't mean job loss. It should mean resources who can be deployed elsewhere so you can do those other products, those other services. I'm aware of some really serious changes that are occurring in the health sector. And I'm going to give you a practical Australian example.
Yeah, what's that about?
So there is a major Australian hospital who 12 months ago replaced their medical secretaries with an AI tool. So what's a medical secretary do? So for a very long time, doctors have been recording what they're doing with their patients on recording devices. And those recordings go down to, in this case, a team of 30 medical secretaries who then turn those into reports and so on because they understand the language, they understand what's going on. They're a very specific area. This very, very large hospital was spending around $2.8 to $3 million per head in terms of the employment costs and on costs. It now has 2 people and 1 AI.
So from 30 team of 30 people, it's down now only to 2 people basically.
2 people, but the speed with which the doctor's recordings are turned into reports is much faster because the AI doesn't sleep, doesn't take holidays. No. It's there all the time. But you still need human oversight.
Of course.
Those 2 people, those 2 who remain, they remain in the job. Their job is to check the quality and the accuracy of the information.
QC of the job, basically, yeah.
Correct, absolutely.
But the majority of the job is basically done by the AI agents, I would imagine, that has been deployed across the organization. So they will be much more faster, much more accurate. They don't go to the holiday, they don't ask for a pay rise and all the rest of it, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. AI technology is cheap to deploy, or cheaper than most other technology to deploy. It's quick, it's rapid to do it. You don't need large project teams to do this. You're dealing with a device which you train. You're dealing with an algorithm that gets better and better the more it does its job. It learns.
Absolutely. So the mentioned hospital, imagining a year from now that they have gone through a series of feedback loop to the system, it even gets better for them, doesn't it? So 6 months from now, a year from now, with all those the only 2 people or 2 soldiers remaining on a battleground and getting all the feedback fed into the system even learns better. So the quality of the quality of the report and the summary medical report that they prepare, it even gets better and better and better.
It has. And as Ali, this was implemented 12 months ago. The information I has is that the quality of the reporting is has gone up. It's the speed with which it's delivered much faster. It too, just the mere fact that the function is able to do what it's doing. The people who made the change are looking at what other things can be done.
So definitely what they have achieved in a summary is that the operational costs have gone down.
Correct.
The accuracy of the reports have gone up. Now the medical staff, in particular the doctors, have got more time with more patients. They could visit more patients, which means the better quality of the service. Of course, more revenue generally for the operator, because they would be able to see and visit more patients and do not be worried about to take care of like the admin side of stuff. Still not compromising the quality of the reports. So the reports are also prepared in a very accurate fashion and in a very professional manner. Still, there is two medical staff that they're reviewing and doing the quality check. If there is something that needs to be looked after or the quality is not exactly there, they do the feedback loop into the system, so the system learns and next time doesn't make the same mistake. So they're really on a growth path, aren't they?
Absolutely. And look, there are numerous stories about where AI has increased productivity, reduced operating costs and so on. But we still get back to 95% of these AI pilot programs have failed. They've failed to deliver on the promise of what could be.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about a huge capability not being able to be deployed effectively across a large number of areas. We're also talking about 5% of companies who are doing very, very well at what they're doing.
That hospital definitely is among those 5%. It's among those 95%, I would imagine.
So look, it's about clear decision rights, accountability, structured, curated data, stakeholder alignment and change management. It's people. How do you engage people? It's about assuring that the business objectives are actually met. And when we're going back to what governance is at this point, it's living governance. It's governance that flows from the top to the bottom of the organisation and back again. It's about visibility. It's about measurement. And it's about adaptability, the ability to change when you need to change. But it means everybody needs to be engaged. Governance is about getting it done. It can't be an overhead. It must be integrated into the basic ways of operating. If you're the CFO or you're the chief procurement officer or you're the head of marketing or sales or the head of IT, what's it doing for you? Because it's going to unfold differently in your particular vertical to someone else's vertical. And back with the governance, it needs to be horizontal and it needs to be vertical. Horizontally integrated, vertically integrated. So that means the organisation needs to rethink about how it's going to operate. It needs to be clear about what the business objective is of implementing AI and how is the organisation going to operate once it's... So how do you implement it? One question. But another question is, how is the organisation going to operate once it's been implemented? With the reduced number of staff in HR, for example, or in finance, for example. What governance procedures are you going to have in place to ensure customer satisfaction? Your CSATs, your customer satisfaction scores are important. Accuracy in finance is critical.
It is.
Absolutely. So while there's huge opportunity and everybody's very starry-eyed about it, there's also huge risk.
It is.
If you get it wrong because you didn't put in the appropriate levels of security, the cyber security protections, if you get it wrong because you didn't structure and curate your data properly, if you get it wrong because you didn't have the privacy protections in place, then you end up in situations where not only did you get it wrong, not only is there a tremendous business impact, but there's a legal impact.
Oh, yeah.
privacy regulations. Look at organisations now that have had serious cyber security incidents that are related to AI.
Exactly. I was reading some stats that we're seeing a large number of security threats and security breaches that is AI enabled, isn't it?
Absolutely. Probably, I think the statistic is something like 60% of cybersecurity breaches in the last 12 months have been AI enabled.
Wow.
There are a number of prominent ones which we're all quite familiar with. But, you know, for example, the $2.5 million heist from Noosa City Council.
Oh, yes.
That used AI capability, overseas AI capability, where deep fake voices gave instructions, voices of people who had the accountabilities and delegations, gave instructions over the phone to staff, and these were followed up by emails, I understand. So you really got to get your cyber stuff sorted. And we'll talk about that later as well.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I guess going back to it, AI isn't just a word. It's multiple levels of capability that require multiple levels of capability to be developed within your organisation to effectively deploy. Capability at the level of the board, capability at the C-suite, capability at operational management and operations. There's a lot of change management. There's a lot of training and development and skills development that's required. There's a lot of deep thinking about what it is that you as a business want to do. What are you trying to do? How are you going to play in this world?
Oh, yeah.
Because this world's here. It's coming. It's getting faster, more capable. Some overseas countries are really, really charging ahead. In China, for example, there are AI robotic doctors that have been deployed in AI robotic run hospitals. There are people in there, but they are supported by AI robots. That sounds the stuff of sci-fi, but it's there. It's for real. And they're using that to solve a problem, which is a significant proportion of the Chinese population not having access to a human doctor or a hospital.
I see. So they have identified a problem, and now they're using the technology basically to address that problem, isn't it? And solve the problem to some extent.
Absolutely. And AI technology around medicine was one of the first areas where a significant number of tests and studies were carried out in terms of the ability of AI to more quickly and more effectively diagnose problems than a human can. So you never want to hand over the capability. It's got to be people working with the technology.
Yeah.
It's got to be a doctor, a human doctor, checking that what has been done is in fact accurate. But what it does is it makes the AI working with a doctor, makes that doctor more effective, more able to accurately diagnose problems, quickly diagnose problems, treat more patients. Once again, what we're talking about is a productivity gain that is driven by the augmentation of human capability with AI. But I go back to governance. None of this is possible unless you have a governance layer going through all of the operations, all levels of the organisation, and people who are accountable and making stuff happen in the way that it should, checking the quality of the outcomes, ensuring that the business objectives are being met. That 95% failure rate is really important.
It is. It's lots of productivity loss that could be achieved. If we even could translate half of it to like success projects, imagine what would be the impact on the GDP, or on a country, on a national level, or even on a like corporate level, how much of those lost funds and lost opportunities could be realized and could be translated into the and be reinvested into the business.
Yeah.
More productivity, more time saved, more service delivered. But at the moment, apparently, it's not happening.
Not there. And but what it takes is a change in the way that organisations operate. Everybody's accountable at their level.
Yep.
But for them to be accountable, they need to know what they're accountable for.
Exactly.
They need to know what is the problem that is being solved and what are the business objectives that are being sought to be achieved. And what role do they have to play in that? AI evolves across 3 distinct levels, from the passive responders like ChatGPT, Copilot, Grok, and Claude, to autonomous agents that plan and act, and finally to agentic AI that makes decisions and executes complex tasks with minimal human input. What is governance? Governance in the context of AI refers to a structured system of oversight, accountability and decision-making that ensures AI technologies are developed, deployed and managed in alignment with an organisation's strategic goals, legal obligations, ethical standards and operational risks. Good governance is not just structural, it's human. It demands inclusive participation, continuous learning, adaptive skills and a culture of accountability, with change management as the critical enabler of resilience and strategic alignment across all levels. For an organisation implementing AI, effective governance must define clear roles and responsibilities across all levels of the organisation. Establish policies and controls for data quality, privacy, security, model transparency and algorithmic accountability. Embed risk management frameworks to monitor bias, security, compliance and unintended consequences. Ensure traceability and auditability of AI systems, including documentation of training data, model logic and decision outputs. Aligning with external standards and regulations such as ISO 42001, GDPR and specific codes of conduct, particularly the Essential 8 from a security perspective. Then it's a matter of allocating the budget and measuring the business achievement. This definition is designed to be actionable, scalable, and adaptable.
Absolutely. Great. All right, Colin. So now we come to subtopic number 2, from a strategy to execution. What comes under that?
Well, this is about bridging the gap between vision and reality. And I think that's a big one today.
Oh, it is.
So we'll talk about that in some detail. It's about strategic alignment. What I mean by that is the alignment between the board's strategic objectives articulated in the verticals of finance and HR and sales and marketing and so on and so forth, flowing through the operations, flowing through to the projects, but all being aligned. There's some tools, some really good tools that can help with that. And finally, it's about culture. Excuse my writing.
That's all right.
And capability. Because the people side of this and how you prepare and make it happen is absolutely critical.
Excellent. So when we're talking about from a strategy to execution, what I'm hearing is that it is not another IT project that the IT guys are responsible for. It goes far beyond that. So they are part of the puzzle, but they're not those that necessarily need to solve the problem or solve the puzzle, or it's sort of another baby that they need to look after, is it? So it's basically come at very, very high level in the organization, and then from there, IT guys definitely are involved, no problem with that. But it's not another project that they need to deploy, is it?
No, I guess there's 2 aspects to this. As I said, this is the biggest change that has come into being in a very long time. But it's not just a technology change. More importantly, it's about ways of working, ways of thinking.
Exactly.
It's about turning data into financial results. You know, if you can pull all of the data from your organisation for the last 30 or 40 years, if that's how long you've been in place, what insights can you find? A human being can't look through 30, 40 years of data.
Yeah.
Not in their lifetime. But run it through one of these tools, you get an answer with patterns and things that are possibly going to actually make you better at whatever it is that you do in a very short space of time. And I know there are organisations that are doing just that. They're looking for enlightenment from their data sets. There's a security aspect to this that we've spoken about before because of the very, very serious risk of cybersecurity incidents coming from the outside, and unfortunately, cybersecurity incidents that are enabled from the inside. And that's another discussion. But look, AI initiatives, organisational goals, sector mandates, they need to be really articulated, aligned, and then executed based on that very clear understanding of what you're trying to do. Defining the governance, defining who's accountable, who's responsible, decision-making rights, all of those sorts of things is really important up front, and really drawing the link between how governance can make this a success, why governance is so important, and who is part of that governance. Once again, governance should not be a heavy burden. It should be there in terms of the way things are done, securing the business outcome.
Yep.
But it should be something that takes up a huge amount of time or a huge amount of capability.
You're an advocate of living governance as well. So on the number one, we touched on that a little bit more. Can we open that up a little bit more here from strategy to execution? So about the living governance, what do you mean by that? Like in a strategic level of the organization, what do we mean by that?
Okay, so traditionally we have many program management models that have governance built in, steering committees, governance boards, all of that sort of stuff. From an organisation corporate level, we have board level governance, and we have, boards have risk and audit committees and those sorts of things. But they're separated. Very much projects and programs are left to themselves. The task of delivering the change is handed to the project or the program, which I'm saying is absolutely the wrong way to do it. The board makes the decision, but how does that get translated into reality on the shop floor? All of these things are important. I'm not saying they're not. They're not. Living governance doesn't throw those things out. It just integrates them. So there's a holistic, organisational wide view of governance, and what things are in place is determined by the business objective. Living governance empowers the board, empowers the C-suite, empowers the operational managers, empowers the people on the shop floor to do what needs to be done to achieve the business objectives. The term mission-centric is probably appropriate here. Living governance is mission-centric. It sets the objective, it provides the visibility, it provides the measurements, but people are empowered to do what needs to be done to get the job done. In projects and programs, we measure time, we measure budget and business benefits. Those business benefits and those business objectives often take a secondary place to the schedule and the budget. What I'm saying is the business benefits, the business objectives and how they're aligned are critically important. And because of the impact of the AI capabilities, the speed with which things can be done, the range. Let's go back to our medical model. If you put a set of symptoms into a medical AI like ADA, it has access to the very latest and all of the medical research that's out there, and it can access it and pull in a diagnosis in an extremely short period of time. That diagnosis then needs to be checked by a medical professional.
Yeah.
And it might have a number of different diagnoses. But what it's just done is really different to a doctor sitting across the table from a patient going,
it could be this, it could be that, or what
that.
exactly it is.
Let me send you off for a bunch of tests, what have you. That's a big change in that setting. But imagine the same sort of information processing power, access to information, being available to any business, a financial business, having agents that look at, what the markets are doing, make predictions based on a whole bunch of information that's coming in. Once again, that information then needs to go to a person who can go, what does this mean? In the PMO space, I know, for example, that an AI PMOs are being deployed in Australia. Doesn't mean there isn't a PMO manager, doesn't mean that there isn't a PMO director, doesn't mean that there aren't key people in the PMO, but it does mean it's a much smaller PMO. And that has impacts on business models for the company that's implementing the project that requires a PMO, because that's going to be something that's fairly big, project or program. But it has implications for the people who are providing the PMO service, the people who are delivering the project. How does that all work together? How do you measure success? And let's not forget risk. If your AI tool makes a mistake, who's responsible?
Surely not the system.
No, it's you. So there's a very good reason for making sure there's human interface and there's human ability involved in this.
100%. I was thinking about like the example that you mentioned about like a medical staff and medical doctor, that imagining they have got an AI-enabled system available to them, and when they wanted to do the diagnosis about a particular patient, they put the data in the system, and the system has got access to thousands of the previous patients with the same symptoms and what has been diagnosed for them. Now the system predicts that, okay, with this patient, with this profile and the data that's available, it looks like 95% of the diagnosis based on like previous thousands of patients. And it make the suggestion to the professional, to the doctor. And now they have got all the data, say, based on the latest research and all the previous data that has been fed into the system, it's a diagnosis that the system suggests. And now all the things narrow down to like a couple of things that they're going to diagnose, and they already know what it is. So they just do the check and they come to the decision much more quicker, much more faster, and more accurate, isn't it?
Look, it is. And this is a really good, and let's go down this hospital path again.
Yeah.
There are literally digital records that cover millions of cases from the United States, Europe, and Australia that can be combined into what are called clinical decision support tools. These databases have similar measurements in terms of blood pressure, weight, frailty, a whole number of variables, the medical variables, and I won't go into those, but they're risk factors. And if you have somebody who's about to receive some sort of medical treatment, it would be good for that person to know what they, as a particular person of with all of those characteristics, what's the likelihood of success? And are there some things that could be done prior to whatever that treatment is, some weight loss, some strengthening, some other sorts of things that might improve the chances of success. And that's really important for the patient. But guess what? It's really important for the hospital as well. Because when things go wrong, that means that hospital beds are taken up, ICU staff and ICU beds, which are very expensive, are taken up. So if you can front end some decision-making support that the doctors can use to go, maybe we do some other things before we do this other thing here, and maybe there's another way of treating this. These are the possibilities that exist at the moment. And it's good, but you need the doctors still there working with the tools, augmented by the data and so on.
And make the decision finally and be accountable for it.
Finally making the decision and being accountable. You can't pass the decision off to the machine.
Yeah, exactly. Can't do that.
From a legal perspective, you can't sue the machine.
No,
and you can't put the machine behind bars.
No way. And that's always going to be the argument.
All of this is really good.
Yeah.
But unless you have digital fluency, unless the organisation has an understanding of what the heck's going on. So in a sense, this means that some of the knowledge that's resident in IT professionals, for example, in the organisation, needs to be translated to the board and the C-suite and operational management and so on. There needs to be more fluency with what this technology is and what it can do.
So they understand the language.
So they understand the language. They need to understand how the things that are being implemented work, so that they can understand whether they're working properly.
Exactly. So if I'm a C-level and there is a new AI project in front of me, or my colleagues basically, and we wanted to make a decision, and still we're not sure about what problem in the organization level are we going to solve or what we're going to achieve. And at the end of the day, everybody tells me that, look, if things are okay and are good and are shiny, happy days, but if things go wrong, you're to blame, not the machine. So I would be really hesitant to sign off on that new project, which still, even I'm thinking it's another IT project. You know what I mean? So we go back to the first square.
And this is why I'm saying behaviour is really important.
Yeah.
And previously, we've been around a long time. We know what happens in these things, and it's probably been reasonable to say, look, I'm the CFO, I'm a COO, I'm the head of marketing and sales. I just want the outputs. I just want the system to do what I need it to do. It sounds great what it's going to do, but you're the IT guys, you're the CIO, you're the project delivery people. Get on with it, and I'll be really pleased to get what I get.
Just make it happen for me.
Just make it happen for me. That's not working anymore. That won't work anymore.
Exactly. So it's not like somebody else's job to get it done and another department in the organization reap the benefits, isn't it? So they need to be involved. They need to understand what's going on. It's not just a project to be delivered, tick off and put it on the shelf, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And look, I'll say this very clearly. AI is a journey. It's not a destination. You're not going to implement one piece of AI or one agentic AI capability like Ask HR, as IBM Watson and IBM did. Think of what has changed in the last 2 to 3 years. We didn't have ChatGPT, Copilot, or any of these other things 3 years ago. What are we going to have in 2026, in 2027? I'm not going to go into this in detail because this is not governance, but let me just say, the architecture, the architecture of the ecosystem, the ICT ecosystem needs to be enabled for adaptability and change that is ongoing. And it needs to be really secure. So that's processes, and that's also design, architectural design. And these are problems that are being solved for by the major providers of cloud and stuff. But from the perspective of a rapidly evolving technology space that is changing on a monthly basis, let alone a yearly basis.
Oh, they do.
You need to be able to plug and play. What's here now in terms of agentic agentic AI for HR and finance is great, but it's going to be really different in a year's time.
Oh yeah, would be 100% obsolete. Probably have become far better. I mean, when we think about the whole revolution of AI is just 3 years old, and thinking about the speed that we are on that journey, and how fast it's basically developing and learning, and the new data and the new feedbacks are, fed into the system. So next 3 years, well, not next 3 years, I would say next 3 months, it will be different for sure.
Well, it is. And part of the thing about agentic AI is the ability to, from within the organization, for the people who are accountable for finance, HR, sales, marketing, procurement, so on, operations, so on, to be able to say, do you know what we've got is really good, but it's made me realize that if we had an agent that was able to do this, and then you can do that internally. And the IP, the professional knowledge that comes from the CFO and the CFO's team, the accounts payable, accounts receivable, all of those sorts of things, goes into creating a process that is enabled by an AI agent that is even more powerful. Indeed. And more capable. It's part of the journey. So it's about having an ICT ecosystem, a modular architecture that protects your data and protects your operations, but also enables you to grow in capability and your AI tooling and capabilities to grow. But it's not static. The other thing it's important to understand is what you have access to, everybody in your business area has access to. Your competitors have access to this as well.
Oh, yeah.
So keeping an eye on what your competitors are doing, benchmarking, once again, something that AI is really good at. That's really important. But that's talking about operations. That's talking about how you as a business or a government department work.
Yeah.
Governance is the strategic backbone that ensures ICT ecosystems remain modular, scalable, and cyber secure, capable of evolving rapidly with rapidly changing AI landscape. Governance defines the decision rights, the oversight mechanisms, the ethical boundaries, and guide how technologies are adopted, integrated, and monitored. A well-governed ICT architecture enables plug-and-play AI integration without destabilizing core systems. It embeds zero-trust security and AI-aware threat models at every layer, and it maintains structured, curated data for performance, compliance, and explainability, supports policy agility and operational continuity, and aligns with the standards that we spoke about before, including the Essential 8 and DISP. In short, governance transforms ICT from a reactive cost center into a strategic enabler of resilience, innovation, and trust. Governance is no longer just about compliance. It's about strategic direction, ethical oversight, adaptive control, and in the digital era, it ensures that innovation aligns with purpose, risk appetite, and trust. Program and project disciplines help, but it's the organisational governance driving the business benefits sought that makes the most difference and will be the rocks on which business benefits achievements fail if not in place. Technology project success rates have improved modestly, so the PMI reports, in the last 30 years or so, from 50% to 65 to 70% in the 2000s. Disciplined governance matters. Agile improves success rates a lot. PMI methodologies that have been introduced in 2025, including CPMAI and leading AI transformations, will help. But once again, projects are not the organisation. They're enablers.
Of course.
And the organisational governance that encapsulates projects and ensures and assures that those projects deliver on the business objectives is what matters.
100%.
So bridging the gap. Strategy often fails in execution due to misalignment governance layers. So we need to embed governance from the outset. Link board level vision to delivery mechanisms. Use assurance checkpoints, not just reporting lines. And rigorous management of achievement of business objectives. Clear accountability from the board to the CEO to the C-suite to operational management, shop floor and projects and programs. Need to ensure that the board and management team are accountable and not just the CIO and CISO. Each organisational vertical must assure it is getting the business outcome or organisational capability it is expecting. Governance must live at every level of the organisation and the project. Governance must provide complete transparency, banishing all ambiguity, managing risk and assuring the business outcomes are achieved. It's about a culture of governance. It's about a culture of accountability.
Of course.
And it's about the skills and capabilities that have been developed to assure those things.
All right, great. So we already have covered number 1 and number 2 and sort of have touched a little bit on the cyber risk as we were covering number 1 and number 2. But now let's dive deep into cyber risk as a business risk. So what comes under that and what we're going to unpack here?
Okay. So what is the risk? How do we ensure risk, cyber risk management?
Of course.
And most importantly, this is not just a technology problem. Okay. So we're fortunate in this country to have a very wonderful organisation that provides security framework for large, small and medium business. Government has been very active in providing the essential aid and articulation of what that all means in terms of business, large, small and medium. I'd recommend going and having a look at their website.
Of course, yeah.
Governance around risk is an accountability of the board. If the board cannot show that risk has been managed around cybersecurity and that personal data of clients, for example, is safe and that they have done everything possible, then a point to note is that directors' liability insurance doesn't apply. So the board needs to make absolutely certain that the cybersecurity requirements, and those requirements will be based on the type of information that you hold, the nature of your operations, what sort of a cyber risk target you are. But the board needs to make sure that cyber risk management is in place, that the organisation and its data is secure. The board needs to regularly get reports and take account of it, and every board member is accountable. The C-suite are also accountable, obviously. The security of your operations and the security of your data, particularly the data of your clients, their bank account details, their credit card details, their home addresses, or if you're talking about hospitals and doctors, you're talking about very personal and private information.
Records, yeah.
I would say that data has never been more at risk and more exposed than it is now. And the tools that are being used by cyber criminals and state actors to access that information have never been more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Where those breaches have occurred in Optus, in Westpac, in
Medibank. The list goes on and on. I mean,
the list goes absolutely on and on. And remember, some of those cyber attacks occurred a number of years ago. So, the capability to do those cyber attacks has increased
a lot.
But I go back to the accountability rests with the board, with the C-suite, with every single member of the organisation to do everything in their power to ensure that what they're doing and the data that they're handling is in fact secure. And there needs to be visibility of that. There needs to be checks. There needs to be transparency. There needs to be an ICT ecosystem. Once again, I won't go into that in as much detail in this, but there needs to be an ICT ecosystem that you can be safe behind. And then the analytics that you're using to trawl through data to deliver services and products on time and within the contractual arrangements that you have with your clients and so on. All of that needs to be secured. It's got to be resilient as well. If you are attacked, what's your response?
What's the backup plan? What's the recovery?
What's your plan B?
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very complicated area, and security is everybody's responsibility.
100%.
As I said before, 40% of cybersecurity attacks are now AI enabled. 63% of organisations globally have experienced an AI enabled cyber attack in the last 12 months.
Wow. And the number I'm imagining it's going to go up. It's not going to go down.
It's only going to go up. It's only going to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, these organisations that conduct the cyber attacks are corporations. They pay high salaries and they pay bonuses for success, shared profits, all sorts of things. They're businesses who make their money by attacking other businesses. The other more frightening thing is that 84% of AI tools have leaked data.
Right. So they have been source of not properly managing the data, but also leaking the data to some extent, isn't it?
Absolutely. Not properly managing the tools. So when I talk about behaviours and culture, it's talking about everybody understanding security. If you use ChatGPT or Copilot on your mobile phone in the office and you put data into it in the office and then you walk outside with that data and that analysis, that's not secure.
No, not at all. Or even the worse, if you put like company and corporate data in a deep seek, you don't know where it goes.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. You do know where it goes, though. And it's not secure.
No, not at all.
You're helping the tool develop.
No.
And the tool you have access to, but is resident somewhere else and not in this country.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity governance is very clearly articulated in the information provided by ASD, the ASD 8. It's also there in ISO 27001.
Yeah.
And we're talking about having a cybersecurity strategy, a cybersecurity framework, a cybersecurity incident response plan. And that's just at the very top level. But we're also talking about cybersecurity awareness and understanding how that cybersecurity capability is enabled by governance. And I go back to our definition of governance. It's about accountability. It's about visibility of business objectives being achieved. So if being cybersecure is a business objective, which it is a business objective for every organisation, and if it's not, it should be, then how are you assuring that? Governance being accountability, visibility, measurability.
100%. If you're not measuring it, how you manage it, really?
Yeah, if you can't measure it, how can you manage it? AI is not just a passive risk, it's an active threat vector. Breaches are increasingly caused by AI-powered reconnaissance, learning user behaviour to meaning access patterns. Deep fake and impersonation attacks targeting executives and systems, as well as autonomous phishing bots adapting in real time to bypass filters. Organisations must treat AI as both a capability and a risk surface. Governance, access control, and cybersecurity maturity, Essential 8, are critical to mitigating the AI-driven threats. Cybersecurity governance is A, that cyber threats are existential risks to the organisation, and boards must treat cyber resilience as part of enterprise risks, not an IT silo. Living governance, governance that evolves with the threat of the landscape. It's adaptive, it's iterative, and it's embedded into every part of the digital operation. That's what living governance is. And its practical integration means cyber risk registers at board level. It means cross-functional ownership, legal, operationals, tech, and finance. And most importantly, scenario-based testing and red teaming.
All right. So we covered more than half of the grounds that we wanted to cover today. And now diving into number 4, the new accountability model. So Colin, what comes under that, the new accountability model?
The first thing is that the new accountability model is about AI, a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
We've touched on the new accountability model in the sense that it's genuinely the whole of the organisation is accountable.
Sure.
That's not just a phrase. Everybody needs to know exactly what they're accountable for and to be trained to do what they need to do. So everyone is accountable. Everyone, every level. Is accountable. Visibility and measurement. So this model operates whole of organisation. And it operates in every level of the organisation. It operates at every corporate accountability, every project accountability, placing measurement at the heart of your business, ensuring effectiveness, the delivery on the business objectives, assuring efficiency, that the cost of those deliveries are worth the business objective. Sure. They're done as cheaply as possible, if I can say that, or as reasonably priced as possible is probably a better way of saying.
Yep.
Journey and not a destination. I can't emphasise this more. Just look around you.
Yeah.
Look at what's happened in the last couple of years. Look at what's being marketed out there. Look at the exponential growth in AI-only industries. The statistics we mentioned earlier on at the beginning, nearly 1,000 different companies that are AI-specific, employing right now 8,000 to 10,000 people. That's in Australia.
And just to start,
And double-digit growth expected every year from now on. An individual operating effectively with a tool such as ChatGPT or Copilot or what have you is vastly more effective in whatever they're doing than someone who's not.
Absolutely.
It's the human being augmented by the tool that produces the power. But doing it safely and doing it effectively, so people being trained to do it, and understanding that it doesn't replace human input. I mean, we all know of examples, a certain consulting firm who charged over $400,000 for a report which ultimately turned out to be have significant components of it AI generated.
Oh, yeah.
Significant components that weren't correct. Illustrates that even in really professional organisations, the human input is so important, and people are not going to pay large amounts of money for AI generated stuff.
No.
They want the professional knowledge, the experience to be there. It doesn't mean the tools aren't used, but they're used to augment that professional knowledge and that experience. It's used to do stuff more quickly, more efficiently. So governance, that context about governance of information usage in organisations is really, really important.
Exactly. I was thinking that particular government agency doesn't pay $400K to just get an AI generated report, do they? So they want a value out of it, and all the reason that they go to big consultancies basically is to get that knowledge. They're going to use AI, fair enough, no problem with that. But at the end of the day, again, back to the example of like the hospital that we mentioned, there need to be a level of like quality checks on all of these to make sure that the report that's prepared is really fit the purpose, and it really addresses all those requirements that it's supposed to do, not just getting it out of like some AI generated ChatGPT and then send it to the client and get $400K. And that was the case that they needed to refund the money, isn't it?
And look, this is an example of a business model that really needs to be looked at carefully.
Yeah.
The organisation that required the report could have had people, professionals in their organisation that developed knowledge and information using the same AI tools that the consulting firm used.
At a friction of
and
cost.
then approach the consulting firm for their expert knowledge and says, what can you add to this?
Just peer review or something like that.
Peer review, or what does this mean? It's a different way of working, but it's a way of working that integrates AI and professional knowledge where professional knowledge exists to get a better outcome. And that's what I'm saying about the business models. The way of operating need to be thought through. Yep. Again, how do you add value with AI tools in place, and what AI tools can help you add value, can help you do your job more effectively and efficiently. Go back to our doctors. Having an AI tool, an AI medical AI like ADA, to help you make a diagnosis is going to make you be a better doctor, better diagnose.
100%. But definitely it's not business as usual to any of the consultancies get a job from any organization, government or private, and then fill the whole scope of work with the junior consultants, get the money out of it, and then walk away with a big check. It's not that anymore. So the operating model has changed significantly. No problem with that. But the adoption of that and the utilization and deployment of that technology, it's all that matters, isn't it?
It is, and look, there are AI tools that are at that first level of AI capability I spoke about that effectively passive. They do what you tell them to do. There are AI tools that you feed them information, they'll produce a PowerPoint presentation, and so on. So the ability to produce a PowerPoint presentation in a very short space of time is there.
2 minutes top.
An Excel spreadsheet giving some of these tools a description of, here's the data, this is what I achieve with the data, and letting it rip puts you into a totally different realm in terms of analysing the data. The data analysis is done for you. You look at it and you go, okay, that's not quite right. That's interesting. Let's find out some more. It really enables the capability. Never before have we had the power to increase productivity at every level, at every job in the organisation as much. But you need to sit down and think about it.
Exactly.
You need to train your people to use it. You need to think about what you can do. Get them to think about, once they're trained, what can they do? And so on. But all within a secure governance.
Oh, yeah.
A secure living governance. I can't emphasise how much accountability and visibility is important. Living governance is a model for resilient, human-centred transformation. Living governance is a dynamic, adaptive model that embeds accountability, participation and strategic foresight across all levels of an organisation and every functional domain. It is human-centred, meaning it prioritises learning, ethical alignment and stakeholder engagement, not just compliance. This model operates as a whole of organisational framework, integrating leadership, operations, technology and culture. Recognises that AI and digital transformation are journeys requiring iterative oversight and continuous capability building. It embeds risk management, decision making, and ensures governance evolves alongside emerging threats, ethical challenges, and regulatory shifts. It demands cybersecure scalability, both in technical architecture and organisational capacity, to remain resilient in the face of evolving technologies. It aligns people, processes, platforms to deliver strategic agility, audit readiness, and trust. In essence, living governance transforms static oversight into a strategic capability, one that grows with organisation, adapts to disruption, and ensures that innovation remains accountable, inclusive, and secure.
Let's go for number 5, embedding resilience.
Now, I'm going to have to stretch a little bit over
That's
the table
all right.
here, Ali, but what we're talking about is whole of government alignment, governance, organisational alignment.
Yep.
We're talking about human-centred culture. We've spoken about that before.
Yeah.
We're talking about scenario-driven risk management. Cybersecure scalability. And overall adaptive oversight. I'm not going to go into too much depth on this, Ali. We've talked a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think most of these things have been dealt with to some extent. But
It has.
What we're putting over here is the focus on resilience. Let's go back to it's a journey. It's not a destination. So resilience means embedding these things, that whole of organisational governance, fully aligned to the objectives, the business objectives of the organisations. It's about having a human-centred culture that sees AI as a tool, an enabler, and belonging to them, not IT. Scenario-driven risk management. Well, that's an interesting phrase, isn't it?
It is indeed.
So what we're talking about here is, remember I was talking before about benchmarking, seeing what's going on in your industry, seeing what's going on in your particular part of government, understanding what things are unfolding in your particular part of government overseas, or your particular business industry sector overseas, else everywhere. Learning, being a learning organisation, all right? What are the scenarios for risk? What are the scenarios for productivity? What are the scenarios for growth? It turns your organisation into something strategic. If that's done at board level, if that's done at every organisational vertical, you know, the CFO does it, the COO does it, the CHR does it, the Chief of Marketing and Sales does it, then that empowers strategy like nothing else. But remember, it's all AI. You've got tools to help you do this. Cyber secure scalability and adaptability. So the organisation must be scalable and adaptable.
Sure.
And it must be able to do this in a cyber secure environment. And talking about what constitutes a cyber secure environment, we've done that, but actually going into the detail of what that means technically and managerially is a whole area in and of itself. In short, governance transforms resilience from reactive function into strategic capability.
Oh, yeah.
These four things turn the organisation into a strategically capable organisation, a strategically driven organisation, one that grows with organisation and safeguards in its mission, people and systems.
Sure.
Success depends on strategic alignment between AI capabilities and business goals. We've said this all through here. AI for AI's sake means failure to achieve. Technology must serve a clear and measurable business purpose. Cross-functional governance boards, C-suite, technologists, project leadership and users must all have a seat at the table. It must all be visible. AI governance is not just technical, it's cultural and strategic. Leaders must embed AI into the DNA of the organisation, the organisational's governance, and not treat it as a bolt-on. Governance must be anticipatory and adaptive, avoiding becoming reactive. And it does this through scenario planning, risk diagnostics, and continuous improvements that underpin governance planning in an AI and digital transformed world. People and culture are critical to success and must be enabled by change management.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. We unpack a lot today, Colin. And if we wanted to continue, probably can go for an hour or two, maybe. I'm sure about it. But it was really great to have you here today, and and have a really decent amount of time allocating to each of these conversation topics. I ask is from all our guests that are coming to the show about some good book recommendation that our audience, I'm sure, will appreciate. What is some good book recommendation that you have got for us today?
Ali, there's a heap of good books out there.
For sure.
And some of them are really new and some of them are more recent.
Yeah.
But there are two books that I really think are quite amazing and are really foundational to take a good look at.
Sure.
The first one is The Algorithmic Leader, How to Be Smart and the Technologies.
Sounds interesting.
Smarter than you. And that's authors Mike Walsh, and it was updated in 2025. I think it came out much earlier than that, 2016 or earlier.
Oh, right.
So, but it's been around a while, but it has been updated. And the other one is The AI Republic, Building the Nexus Between Human Beings and AI. And this book is by Terence Cease, Mark Esposito, and Danny Go. If you read those two books, I think you'll get a really good understanding of the opportunities with AI, the risks with AI, and how important governance in that living governance definition that I've given is.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to definitely, check those out and really get definitely get a copy of those and go through all the details and better understanding. I learned a lot today as well myself. Thank you very much, really, Colin, for coming to our show and sharing your wonderful knowledge about all these topics. I'm sure we're going to have another episode on this. It's to really do a good justice to the all the items that we covered already. But thank you very much for your time and coming to our show today.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure.
It's been
thank
a pleasure.
you very much. Cheers.